with late game execution.
No, ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, 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 well. I remember about 2 years ago, maybe, when I first started talking about basketball on YouTube. Actually, it was 3 years ago, at the end of last month, but maybe 2 years ago it was, 2023. It might have been after the Suns got eliminated by the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference semifinals. It might have been around that time. I don't know. I know it was 2 years ago. There was a big old goof on YouTube. Some YouTuber. Big goof on YouTube. Now, every time I said Kevin Durant was not the leader that people thinks he is, or is not a leader at all, this big goofball of a YouTuber got on his knees and started crying and whining, boo-hoo whining and crying in my comment section, talking about, you don't know what you're talking about, KD don't need to be a leader, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. 2 years later, what has KD done 2 years later? What has KD done since the end of his time with Golden State? So, let's take a time machine back to 2019, when I was some people can still consider it be my youth, but go back to 2019 when I'm still in my late 20s, and Kevin Durant, blows out his Achilles, of course, with Golden State, and shortly after that, he decides to, people keep talking about me, huh? So I'm going to take my ass somewhere else where I can prove all them wrong. I'm going to sign with the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm going to join Kyrie over there and play over there. I did what I need to do at Golden State. They don't think I'm a leader? All right, I'll show them. And this possibly gave the leeway to LeBron getting that bubble ring. But then again, Golden State would have, Golden State would have been doing anything anyway if KD would have stayed. Because KD and Klay Thompson both had devastating injuries. Klay had a torn ACL, and KD had a torn Achilles. And then Steph was out for the remainder of that year anyway, so Golden State wasn't able to do anything anyways. But then again, Klay Thompson the year after that too, because Klay Thompson then tore his Achilles going into the 2021 series. So yeah, I don't know how the Golden State would have did anything anyway with everybody getting injured left and right. But that's not the point anyway that I'm trying to make. KD goes to Brooklyn with Kyrie, and then he formed this Megatron super team over there. Decepticons rolled out over there with James Harden, Kyrie, LaMarcus Aldridge. It was at the tail end of his career anyway. I think he had a heart element, was it? I believe. And then, the heart element. How did they hit the curve like that? That's crazy. It's a big ass curve. But anyways, ain't hit the curve that much. But who else did they have on that team? They had Blake Griffin at the tail end of his career. Actually, he didn't play that bad with Brooklyn as a side character. And then they had what's the shooter's name? He just retired. I forgot his name. They had a whole bunch of pieces over there. And Steve Nash, that's the head coach. What they do? Oh, they got a second seed in the East. I don't even think they won 50 games that season. Hey, they did win 50 games. I know that was a 75-game season that season. Was it a 75 game or a 22? I forgot. I know it was a short season, but yeah, they get second spot in the East, and I think they did win 50 games. Maybe I think they did. Maybe I don't know. I don't remember. But they easily get past the Brooklyn Celtics, Boston Celtics, who was pretty much injured anyway. Jason Tatum did score 50 on them, but I think Jaylen Brown was actually injured for that series, so that was easy for them to get through. And then they're favored to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. And let me get this out already. This is something I'm getting tired of hearing because this only applies to the Milwaukee Bucks only for some weird damn reason, but it doesn't apply to anybody else or any other sport. But we continue to keep hearing, especially us Bucks fans, continue to keep hearing, if Kyrie didn't get hurt, the Bucks would have never won their 30th. And we also keep hearing the stupidest, egregious thing I keep hearing. And Giannis got Kyrie hurt. I'm like, all right, y'all. All right. Y'all need to get over it. And KD didn't have a foot on the line. All right. Fine. Whatever. There's a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas that happened in sports history. Shoot, if Aaron Rodgers didn't tear his calf muscle in the 2015 playoffs, they probably would have beat Seattle handily. But that's neither here or there. We ain't coming up with excuses of why people lost. If Brandon Boston, whatever his name was, would have just caught the ball of the offside kick against Seattle, Packers would be in the Super Bowl. But that's neither here or there, so I'm getting tired of hearing that. But anyways, KD fails there. I don't care. Injuries are part of the game. It happens. Next year after that, what happens? Yeah, you lose James Harden, but what happens? They get smoked by the Boston Celtics. KD say he had enough. He goes to the Phoenix Suns. Goes to the Phoenix Suns. Gets smoked by the Denver Nuggets. Next year after that, next year after that was last year. Last season they played the Minnesota Timberwolves. Get smoked by the Minnesota Timberwolves. This year, get smoked by the whole entire league. They didn't even get to the playoffs. Can't even get to the play-in. I see a common denominator here when it comes to all these results. Oh, it's KD. It's KD. But Devin Booker does get some freaking heat for this, because there was rumors now that I'm hearing out here in the land of the Valley of the Sun that Devin Booker did not get along with Mike Budenholzer either. So that's right there. It's not so much the coaching. That's just these guys acting like they know more and being treated like prima donnas. But back to KD. He just ain't it, man. It just ain't it with him. Yes, he's great. In his younger years, he was awesome. But he just doesn't have it all to win in this league. Especially a watered down league as it is now. He doesn't have it all. It looks like he's uncoachable, because he had the same problems with Steve Kerr, and he's having problems with Mike Budenholzer. Might have had the same problems with Scott Brooks and even Billy Donovan. He lacks accountability, just like a certain other balding fool. We ain't gonna speak his name on here. He lacks accountability with that, because I've never seen KD take accountability for anything. There is one time back in the day when he was defending Russ, but this is before all hell went loose in OKC. But anyway, he let Russ take the blame when he went to Golden State, because no one else came up to Russ's defense. They just put all the reason why OKC lost or blew that lead all on Russ. When I clearly saw KD flop the ball and turn over the ball multiple times in that series, especially towards the end of the series. It just wasn't all one Russell Westbrook. So, I don't want to hear all that. Man likes accountability and creativity to win in this league. That's what these let me stop it right there. That's what these nincompoops don't understand about the game of basketball. It takes more than just having skill, know how to shoot a ball and dribble. You gotta have some grit, some heart, some willpower. Michael Jordan, I hate to say this and bring him up all the time, but Michael Jordan had it all. He was a complete package. Kobe Bryant was the complete package. These guys today are not the complete package. They have holes in their game. Just dribbling the ball fancy and shooting the ball almost 60% from three it's not the end all be all when it comes to playing this game of basketball. It takes more than that. I don't know why these kids don't understand that. But then again, when I play with these kids, now they don't have all that. They just think they can jump high and dribble the ball for 40 seconds. They think that's the end all be all when it comes to playing basketball. Half of these kids, these dudes, these younger generation I'm playing with, they ain't got no will. They ain't got no hustle. They ain't tough. They claim they tough, but they ain't tough. They only can do one thing good. Either shoot or dribble. That's it. And if they are a shooter, they do have all that, then they'll be playing college ball somewhere, but they're not. And these are the ones that come into the gym acting like they all big and bad, they this and that, and then they lay eggs out there. That's the type of generation we're dealing with. And the NBA reflects on the lesser levels of basketball. NBA is very influential on today's youth. It's always been. It always will be. And the style of basketball they play now reflects on how these kids play basketball today. So the X's and O's and the little detail stuff, they don't have it. And some of these players today don't have it. And KD don't have that toughness or willpower. And when the tough gets tough, he folds. Problem with the Phoenix Suns, they got rid of too many pieces. I said this previously in another video about Budenholzer getting let go. It's not Budenholzer's fault. No, you got rid of too many young pieces in Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges, finally remember his name. You got rid of Chris Paul, the true leader. KD can only work if he has a leader on his team. When he was on Golden State, he had a leader on his team. We all know who that is, but we ain't gonna say his name either because he's a freaking double agent himself, part of the Clutch Mafia. When a couple years ago, I was about to say when he blew that lead against Dallas, but KD wasn't on that team. But a couple years ago, just 2 seasons ago, they had Chris Paul. When Chris Paul left that team, got traded for Bradley Beal, they just folded. Even when he was on OKC, there was leaders on that team. Either there was people like Derek Fisher towards the end of his career, even Westbrook, but they never claimed Westbrook to be a leader. Other people on there I can't think of right now. There was leaders on that team. The reason why they were successful, they didn't get to the finals. They were just too young to beat the Miami Heat, who had more experience than they did. They was very young at the time. But this is who KD is, and this is where he's forever going to be. Yeah, he's top 75 player. Yes, he's going to the Hall of Fame. All that is true. And I think he's better than LeBron skills-wise. But both of these dudes lack a lot of stuff. Willpower, toughness, and all that. Now, their fans won't think that because their fans are freaking brainwashed out their freaking rotten minds. But to the ones who know, who are in the know, you guys completely understand what I'm saying. This is what it is with KD, with Kevin Durant in his career. It's neither, well, I guess it would be bad in terms of basketball, but this is what it is now with him. This is what it forever is going to be. This is going to be his legacy. You can move team to team to team to team to team. Don't mean it's always going to work. Now, if he does find a way to a different team, I keep hearing, I heard OKC and Houston. Houston might have a leader, but he also might have a coach if he goes to Houston with Ime Udoka. Which I heard he actually likes him a little bit more than all the rest of the coaches he has had. But if he has him, he might be able to do something, but he won't be the man. And if he even goes back to OKC, he still won't be the man. You're going to have to play third fiddle behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren. It could have worked like that way, but they got rid of Chris Paul. I think Bradley Beal was probably the worst move. It made that move. I mean, made this team even worse getting Bradley Beal. Because you got 3 non-leaders on the team. That equals just chaos. But anyways, I wouldn't expect the fans of KD to understand what I'm saying. Because like I said in the earlier video, people don't really understand the game of basketball. It's more than just shooting and dribbling off your ass for 40 seconds. Before the shot clock, well, way after the shot clock expired, they play pickup balls, no shot clock, but these dudes be dribbling for 50 seconds with their head down, not looking up. And talk about, I'm good, mama, I'm good, I'm cold as out here. Can't even win a game. Can't even shoot. But anyways, this is what KD's career is going to come out to, unfortunately. Face the fact.